Welcome everyone to the PYRESWAP Show, the show where we help you discover how easy money can be for you. And I, of course, am Five. And I was listening to a podcast this morning by Alex Hormozy, and he said that you should always start all content in the first 30 seconds with talking about proof, promise, and plan, if you have one, right? If that makes sense. And additionally, today is Market Monday because we do theme our shows, and I just want to let you guys know that the news cycle today seems pretty slow. I'll be honest, I'm not seeing a lot in headlines that makes me want to think that you guys need to know this right now as far as it's applicable to your portfolios. And the fact of the matter is that we're entering a new era, and this era is exciting because just like everything we've done so far, we keep increasing the risk that we're taking. We keep increasing the risk and the bet we're making on ourselves. Does that make sense? I think that a lot of people, a lot of people would look at the Genesis ending and this Genesis not hitting our user base goals as like this would be what cripples like a different type of project. But I insist that even though we're called PYRESWAP, we are first in our category. Like we have DEX infrastructure, but like the purpose of this being a DEX, like a Walmart DEX, is not really what we're striving for here. I'm not trying to compete with them, even though I'm rated with TVL the same as them. I hope that makes sense. I was going to draw out a spectrum here, and maybe this spectrum can help you guys understand the direction in which we're going. There's a lot of these new type of meme fusion with like an AI agent type of projects. I'm seeing this stuff get mentioned a lot. I want you guys to understand it's better to be first in your category than 15th in a new category. I can't stress that enough. Like, I am trying to be first in our category only. And the thing is, like, launching a new product does not make us first in our category. This is the first rule of marketing, the immutable law of marketing by a guy named Al Ries, who literally wrote the Bible on marketing. So, us, like, jumping into this Me Too contest, I want to express something real quick. Do you guys know what a gold medal is? Can I get a yes or no from the audience? Do you guys know what a gold medal is? Do you guys know what first place is? I'm going to tell you guys a quick allegory. Sonic, you do? Kia does it, you do? Fantastic. Do you guys know how you get a gold medal? In order to get a gold medal, yeah, okay. In order to get a gold medal, I'm going to give you some equations right here on the board. You put forth a gold medal effort and you make 0 mistakes. In order to win a gold medal, the equation is simple. You put forth a gold medal effort and you make 0 mistakes. Do you guys know what a silver medal is? Has anyone here heard of a silver medal before? Okay, I'm going to just tell you. In order to win a silver medal, you still have to put forth a gold medal effort, but you make 1 mistake. Does that make sense? To get a silver medal, you still put forth a gold medal effort, and you make 1 mistake. Make sense? To get a bronze medal, you put forth a gold medal effort and you make 2 mistakes. I want you guys to know something. Do not ever put forth a silver medal effort. You will not even get on the fucking podium. Does that make sense to everybody? Do not ever put forth a silver medal effort. If you're going to get out of bed, put forth a gold medal effort. Allow yourself the ability to make mistakes. But don't put forth a silver medal effort with the attempt to win a silver medal. You're not going to get shit because the amount of people putting forth a silver medal effort are in the thousands. Does that make sense? Like you're just going to be so saturated. Everybody that you think of in the world, that the life you're trying to escape by being an investor, that life is built by the upper and lower limits of a bunch of human beings putting forth a silver medal effort, putting forth the keeping up with the Joneses effort. You have to fight for your life to break out of it. You have to fight for the life that you want, right? Like it's life or death, because it is. But anyways, Does that make sense? I'm not interested in launching a new product. To be clear, again, marketing and product are two different things. Launching a new product is what people see on the surface as marketing. This is the example of somebody who doesn't know what marketing is. And I'm not trying to dissuade anybody from sending me suggestions, but like copying the newest thing that's trending is jumping behind a fad. Like you're immediately putting yourself in a shittier position. We're first in our position with the fact that we solve a pain point for our user base. Does anybody think of a meme coin that solves a pain point for the user base? Yeah, we have not even really put our guns behind pain point marketing. And by the way, in actual marketing, pain point marketing is number one. It's not like, oh, launching a Me Too product and hopefully it pumps, because you're basically just you're attracting the wrong type of people. And like, you can't win with a team full of losers. I'm just being honest. Does that make sense? Anyways, so to be clear, we're only with this project getting more defined on what our own category is and making sure that we're first in it. We have zero interest in being fifth in a category that's already established. I know that having the word swap in our name makes us look a little bit categorical, but the idea is we do want there to be some type of what they call association. We don't hate the association. Although, if you guys aren't aware, we can always eliminate the word swap from our naming in the future. There's nothing tied to it as far as there's nothing really tied to it other than the token names. Yeah, PYRESWAP, Vibratile, Phantom. Yeah, we can always do that later. But again, I don't think it's a problem right now. I don't think it's a problem, okay? Because legitimately, we're not even going to go to marketing. Okay, our marketing is now not even going to be around like, hey, come to this DEX instead. Does that make sense? Like you know what? Maddie, not a terrible idea. Pyre Union. Yeah, Pyre Union would be kind of cool name. Yeah, Pyrefy. Alessio, I don't know if that domain was available, but I did get pyre.finance. Yeah, I did. We do own pyre.info and pyre.finance, so we could call ourselves Pyre Finance in the future. But I think it could be even better than that, because I would prefer to call it Pyre Economy in my personal opinion. But anyways, more on that like 17 years later from now. Okay, let's stay focused on Market Monday here. Now, I want you guys to look at what I have written on the board here. Pyre Bank. Yeah. Okay, now do I have any questions from the allegory before about gold medal efforts and silver medal efforts? Are there any questions? So I want you to understand, don't stop working on what you're working on now to go build something else and then think it's gonna market back to what you're working on. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Launching a meme coin doesn't do anything for Pyre Phantom. Do you guys understand? Because it's like, oh, hey, we launched that token to promote this token. Get the fuck out of here. Do you guys know what I mean? Do you guys understand how that doesn't work? Like, hey, we launched that car to promote this car. No, do you guys know what I mean? We launched that table to promote that table. Anyways, okay, you guys get it. Launching a product and marketing it are two different tasks. So launching a new product is not marketing it. It's like people are not analyzing what marketing is, and they're just looking at the fucking product. Make sense? It is completely separate from the product. And that's why it's also intangible and psychological, which is why I don't think people in Web3 understand it very well. Anyways, though, as far as fear and greed go today, we have about a 50. We have a neutral with CoinMarketCap, and we have a 76 with Alternative.me, which is also neutral, apparently. Or, I don't know, maybe slightly greed. Genesis is ending today. Genesis is ending in about 6 hours or so, or 5 hours. Who knows what will happen? I would say the next 48 hours, you can think of them as like a new price discovery event. Maybe liquidity depth will change. Maybe price will change. Maybe there's a bunch of people standing by with $7,000 to buy all the Pyre gas they can. Maybe a bunch of people will try to sell $7,000 of Pyre gas. Who knows? Legitimately, I don't know. But what I do know is that red candles can't kill this project. So I would say just wait and see. Yeah, I would say that, let's put it this way. you guys know what the product is strong on, right? It's user-based retention. I want you guys to understand something. Based on the way that we thought this was going to work, a Genesis event did not market the incantation. Do you guys get what I'm saying? The Genesis event did not really market active staking. The Genesis event marketed the Genesis. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Now, the liquidity from the Genesis helped fuel the incantation, but that's still two different things. Do you guys understand me? Do you guys get it? Like, it's one thing to be in the oil and gas industry, and it's one thing to be in the automotive industry. The oil and gas industry fuels the automotive industry, but that's still two different industries. Making sense? It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. Anyways, so I'm sure you guys are excited one way or another. Yeah, I can't wait to see the chaos in the charts, whether it happens one way or another. Yeah, who knows? I want you guys to understand something, and I wish I could literally cite you guys a podcast. It's Alex Hormozy's podcast about lessons learned in 2024. And in the first 10 minutes, he talks about the biggest domino. And when he means the biggest domino, he means what part of the business, if it gets solved, will solve all the smaller dominoes. And to reiterate what I've been saying since June 17th, it has all to do with the actual like mental user base, like the people who are conceptually literate enough to understand how this works and how it affects the future. Okay? Like not just how it affects the present, but how it affects the future. Additionally, if they understand that, then they also understand the factionalization. I think that the understanding the factions is also part of grasping the concept. And we're going to learn PYRESWAP specifically for that. In fact, I have a concept chain that I wanted to run past you guys here in a minute. But first, I'm going to talk about this. And I'm going to talk about the standard event concept. And when we talk about the standard event, what do you guys think we're talking about for the witches or for the knights? What do you guys think the standard event, if you were to guess what we could possibly be referring to on a concept level, what is the standard event for witches? Yeah, exactly, Alessio. Alessio got both of them correctly. Yes, the incantation is the event, and the print is the for the knights, and it is the event itself, not the mechanism. So, Alessio means the incantation versus the incantation witch vault, which is where it happens, right? There's funerals and there's churches. Does that make sense? Funeral is an event, church is a location. Anyways, so the point being here is that in these standard events, whether it's a print or an incantation, as it were, there are in fact right here. Let's see, is this legible? Okay, kind of legible. I feel like it's better than blue though. I feel like. Okay, can you guys read what this word says? Can anybody in the chat read what this word says? What does it say? Okay, fantastic. Okay, we're gonna try with green. I'm just trying to contrast it. Goals. Okay, so if you can't read this, it says goals. Okay, so the point being here is that every time the standard event happens, there are in fact different goals. There are in fact can be two different goals. And these goals can have both short-term and long-term benefits. As you guys remember me talking about in the past, getting a variegation of time preference is part of the goal here. And to make this sense on like a conceptual level, imagine if we had a terazu, right? And then let's say on this terazu, we had another small terazu. Make sense? That's a bad one. You guys might have remembered that training aid that I bought. It's somewhere in this desk, but we don't have the camera 2 set up. So if you can understand this, the witches and the knights are their own balancing act. But then within the witch faction and within the knight factions, there's another balancing act which involves the time preference of the people that are playing the game. Makes sense? The people that are involved in collecting the reward, because it involves the decisions they make in order to capture the reward based on whether they're dividing the short-term and long-term. Well, I'm gonna jargon off. I'm gonna jargon off if I keep going there. Okay, I'm gonna jargon off on camera for you guys. Okay. So, Alessio, you're familiar with the whole FORCE acronym, right? Yeah, you guess yes? Okay. So, for a boardroom print, what would you say is like a self goal versus like a team goal? Yeah, can anyone guess what the self goal, like what would an individualist do with a boardroom print? And then what would a team player do with a boardroom print? Okay, sell. Yep, sell and braid. Well done, Fexer. Yep, well done, Alessio. Yep, correct. Okay, now, Fexer, in parallel, self and team for the incantation. Yeah, it's kind of obvious you guys are dealing with this at least every day. Yeah. The team lines up with the strategy, right? And the self doesn't. That's literally it, right? Whatever Maddie's saying in chat, that's the team goal. If you don't listen to Maddie, no, not even that, Blazio, yeah. Not even that, yeah. Staking last is anybody's goal. It doesn't undermine the game. Everyone should be staking last. Like, everyone should be trying to stake last. It's that right there is like par for the course. Yeah. Yeah, no. It's more about the self and the team. The self is the person that is not listening to the channelers, and the fucking team are the ones that listen to the channelers. Does that make sense? That's literally it. Which is still the same concept over in the Knights. Does that make sense? Because if you listen to the team, you can still make money and in fact completely offset any chance of negative yield, right? But if you want to be like extra greedy and like higher risk, higher reward, you can in fact try to whale the witch falls, right? But it doesn't really like the team okay. Now you might be wondering, like, the incentive to go along with the team. Thank you to whoever is on Kick, everybody watching us on Kick today, I guess. Anyways, so you can imagine that after every one of these standard events, you're going to have a certain amount of the user base follow a self goal, and a certain amount of the user base follow a team goal. Make sense? Make sense? Now, in order to subordinate individualistic goals over the team goals, there has to be what? There has to be a different reward. There has to be a secondary reward. Right? Yeah, there has to be a second benefit, right? And also this benefit has to be seen. This benefit has to be conceptualized by the actual user base. Do you guys follow me? These secondary benefits have to be seen. So as far as on the Knight side, it's like, hey, if you don't sell, we don't go below peg, you can still deploy it in liquidity, right? Make sense? Liquidity will, again, what do they need to know to do this? They need to understand volatility, right? They need to understand swap fees as yield, and they need to be able to see on a dashboard what swap fees actually do for them. Make sense? By the way, why am I asking this? Because all I'm doing is right now building conceptual maps. I need to think about conceptual checklists before, in order to get somebody to behave or believe or understand something. They need to have these prerequisite concepts like hitting their head, right? Now for the witch, the self, and the team, right? First of all, the whale of the witch fault doesn't understand that like they are risking way more money. You've heard me say before, right? You're risking way more money to not make that much more, right? You guys heard the lesson, right? Let's say there's 30 incants, and then you have players 1, 2, and 3, right? And if they all agree to stake 100, they're all making roughly 10, right? You guys have heard this example given to you guys at least a dozen times, right? Now, if one guy wants to go up to 400, if player 3 wants to stake 400 instead of 100, he's only getting 20, right? You guys remember this math? So again, if this example is not ubiquitous, one, let's put it this way. People behave, and this is, by the way, a lot of psychology and marketing I've learned. People behave in a way that they have a positive attitude around. So people in Web3, they have this like belief that like whales have all the power or something, right? So as soon as they can act as a whale, they think that's the right course of action because everything they've touched in Web3 so far has been broken. I'm just being honest. Okay, just my opinion. As soon as you can show this here that like, hey, by the way, you're staking 4 times as much to only get double the reward. You are in fact getting reward on a diminishing rate of returns. Yeah, you could in fact reduce by 75% the amount you're investing to still get 10, right? If they don't hear this concept, which in my mind, this should be like obvious, but it's not. Again, me learning just how much is not obvious is my 2024 lessons learned, to be honest. Anyways, so the word you have here is analysis because it's from leaderboards. Does that make sense? You, when you're a team player, meaning you're kind of like an upstanding member in the credit union, you can now look exactly how you stand in the credit union and who else in that credit union is upstanding. Does that make sense? You now have a social proof as well as a social ranking to who is actually playing ball. Do you guys understand? By the way, social proof is just so good at marketing that, these leaderboards, I'm actually, I do apologize that these leaderboards are not ready. I have had, it's okay. It's okay, Lesio. Yeah, the leaderboards will be ready. And the leaderboards, I really think, are critical to at least proving the concept of credit union. Meaning, like, it's not just the smart contracts, but rather the community. Make sense? Like, the idea of a credit union, you've even heard of, in the United States, there's credit unions that are actually called community credit unions. You're invested in that community, and you actually are able to get return because of your investment in that community, because you're analyzing the community. Make sense? Without the concept of like credit union on Web3, it is difficult to analyze for community in investment. Make sense? Now, I want you guys to understand, in the future, there will be more and more mechanisms for how to make money. Make money quick, make money slow. And believe it or not, you will be doing this decentralized. It's not going to be through Daddy Fide's blessing. Make sense? It'll be like, does Maddie want to lend to Alessio on the opposite faction, right? By the way, being a liquidity provider is always going to look good. It doesn't matter what faction you're in. Make sense? It doesn't matter what faction you're in. Being a liquidity provider will always look good because there's no way that anybody's not going to believe that a liquidity provider is creditworthy. Make sense? Anyways, okay. So after every event, the analysis is like who's playing for themselves, who's playing for the team. Make sense? I really should have like labeled this better. But do you guys understand? And it is through the analysis of who's playing for themselves and who's playing for the team, we're creating a spectrum of credit. Make sense? Because you're creating a ranking of who's the best team player versus who's the best self player. Indeed, Maddie. Yeah, indeed. I know that, okay, it's okay if you are not, it's okay if everything I described there you don't understand immediately. I am, in fact, trying to touch on some higher level concepts because we are exiting Genesis, and a lot of people have heard me talk about implementing some of these higher level concepts. I still have every intention of building the leaderboards. The leaderboards were part of this project before it was even built. They're at least in the roadmap. But I have prioritized the back-end leaderboard design and development, which is it's something that's required from me to blueprint. I have been spending all of my time doing things like learning marketing and things like that. Oh, and now I'm writing stories, right? So something I've definitely learned is the limit of my own brain power and how much I can work on a day. And right now I need to work on learnPYRESWAP.com, and I can't even quickly make a blueprint for the leaderboards. I do apologize, but I'm gonna solve the first problem first. Does that make sense? Between September and November, I was focusing on way too many things at once, and nothing was going right for us then. Nothing was going right for us. Does that make sense? But now I'm focused, and things are going right for us. Hope that makes sense. Well, I'm saying, yeah, that's a bullet. I'll tell you guys this. December was actually the moment we kind of like saw the light at the end of the tunnel. We started seeing gains. Like December, how to tell when to sell was the first like actual like, okay, we can actually market this. Yeah. Because before literally it was like, let's just copy what we think other people are doing, and we're getting suggestions from people who have no idea. I don't want to like go on about that, but like again, December was like the true moment of like, okay, actually we can do big boy marketing and not like crypto marketing. By the way, it still involves storytelling, but it's not just like launching a new product every 30 days. Does that make sense? That's not marketing. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys, and I want to get your actual feedback on, I think, what I'm going to call a concept chain. And the concept chain is basically, what do you guys think needs to be this trail of breadcrumbs around understanding the concepts needed to wrap your head around the, I guess you could say, inflation and deflation of this project. And I'm gonna draw something out. I'm gonna draw it out on the board here. So the first thing being analysis and even TA, and it chains into talking about FA. Make sense? So like, what I mean by the concept chain, I mean, imagine the Web3 avatar. Imagine like there's a person out there in crypto who we don't know. This person's a stranger, but we don't know nothing about them, right? What would you guys, how would you guys describe the Web3 avatar? Do you guys have any? Have you guys ever thought about this? Features, traits, behaviors, demographic data? No? Okay. I'll do all of it then. Yeah. I guess I'll keep that secret for myself. You go from the idea of analysis in TA to FA. Most of them have heard of TA. Make sense? Then you tell them, hey, there's another type of analysis called FA. From FA, you actually go into econ, like econ versus finance. Make sense? Like you're constantly going to be splitting and then picking a path. Make sense? So we say like within FA, you got to learn about economics and you got to learn about finance. And if you want to learn about economics, the first thing you want to learn about is scarcity versus abundance. Make sense? Now, of the thousands of you I'm addressing today, have you guys ever heard of scarcity before as a concept? Fantastic. Fantastic. We're going to make it. If you can understand scarcity, you might be able to understand supply and demand. right? Have you guys heard of supply and demand before? Fantastic. And if you heard of supply and demand, you've probably also heard of price and quantity. Yes. Yep. Yes. As of today, yes, we have all the supply we need. And by the way, Maddie, when we get to the mid level, you will also have more supply. So the fact of the matter is that it's not just like a surge of demand. We're trying to get like demand all the time because there's really no bad price to buy Pyre gas except when it's overpegged, really. Make sense? And of course, that will be explained. Price and quantity. And then from price and quantity, we go straight to inflation and deflation. Okay. Now, on my list, I went from inflation and deflation. Then I'm going into elasticity, like contraction and expansion. I'm going into production and consumption, utility, theory of value, da da da. I think that this is all I need, actually. Do you guys think that more needs to be done here? Actually, I think Ray is right. There should also be additional concepts like the whole community and goals thing. I did write a lot about community in the playbook. Yeah, exactly. So all I want to know, and I'm actually gonna, I'm not gonna erase this because now this is exactly the chain I needed. Because if you can understand inflation and deflation, and if you understand that inflation and deflation have both of these in them, then all you need to do is apply it to the inflation and deflation of Pyre Phantom or 2 ohm or 3 ohm or Z ohm. And we'll really just focus on Pyre Phantom, right? Yep. Okay, so then we do almost, okay, then it's not even a chain, but we'll go into community because talking about community helps people speculate. Make sense? Because then we're going to go back into FA and then legitimately, that would be when we go back into production and consumption. But we don't need to even talk about that. We can just go into like user base. User base and community. Okay. Because you want to think, there's a bunch of other concepts here like utility and theory of value and stuff like that, and game theory and externalities. And I think that might just be too much to jam into learnpyreswap.com. But I think that the user base and community aspect should definitely be talked about in that 9th video. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So if we're gonna go, okay, the first 3 or 4 videos they talk about this stuff. Right? Econ, it's going to be a lot of FA. And then we're going to basically have, 6, 7, 8. Okay, if we have 2 concepts. Okay, perfect. All right. Anyways, okay. Actually, I know exactly what to do now. All right. Anyways, I appreciate you guys talking that out with me. You have helped me build learnpyreswap.com. Anyways, Yeah. I like to give people credit that, I like to just thank people. I've definitely noticed that me talking helps me think because I think I'm just vibrating my skull by talking.
We don't give out gold medals here. We give out aluminum ones.
Okay, anyways, do you guys have any other questions before we blow the fucking lid off of 2025? Correct, Maddie. Yes, and actually, I'm going to talk about that because in user base and community, I'm going to talk about the 3 users, okay? And I'm going to describe, by the way, I want to talk about Bored Ape Yacht Club. Hang on. Fuck, hang on. I got, fuck, okay. I got to write this down. Actually, hang on. It's on the video. Okay, I'll just watch the video later. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I want to explain like the users we were trying to get, and I want to explain that there's 3 types of users in this aspect. Okay. Okay, one is the utilizer. Does that make sense? Now I want to think about, let's talk about PYREPhantom, right? Maddie, no, not at all. Yeah, in fact, like it's already 1/3 of the way there. I think I saw Alessio take a screenshot. Yeah. Maddie, yeah. Holy shit, yeah. Maddie, okay. This month we're building LearnPyReswap.com, and then I'm literally going on a marathon of interviews. Yeah, does that make sense? Here, thank you, Alessio. I'm gonna save that as a fucking image right now. Yeah, I'm literally going on a marathon of interviews once I have the interview rehearsed. I want you to understand something. What helps me do more interviews is to me have the interview memorized before I do the interview. So let's put it this way. The amount of mental labor that 4 interviews took in the past, I can make that into less than 1 interview if I know what I'm going to say for the whole hour. Make sense? Does that make sense to you guys? So in the past, I wasn't really preparing for interviews. And that was also amateur and unprofessional. So I should have everything I'm going to say like packaged and sequenced because I need to be a storyteller on these interviews. That is everything I'm seeing again. Storyteller. I was watching me talk about the PYRESWAP origin story, and I'm just like techno jargoning all over the place. Within the first 8 minutes, I'm like, this is trash. It's still the best video we have, the best performing video. And what that means is like our standard is so low because you guys have gotten used to me since the Revelation Tour. You guys have been listening to me since 2022. So it's different, right? Anyways, let's go back to the 3 types of user. Now the utilizer, an example would be for PYREPhantom is actually Maddie. Does that make sense? Maddie plays the Incantation Witch Vault. Make sense? So Maddie captures yield with PYREPhantom. Does that make sense? He is in fact getting the utility benefit because he's a utilizer. Make sense? Does everyone understand this? Okay, 2, and we'll call this a first degree speculator. A first degree speculator, an example is Dr. Mac. Okay? Dr. Mac does not have time to play the Incantation Witch Vault. He played it back before Genesis a bunch, but Dr. Mac understands how the Incantation Witch Vault works. Therefore, he's able to understand the future scenario, the outcome, from Maddie collecting yield. Does that make sense? Dr. Mac is in fact in the back seat to Maddie compounding his yield. Do you guys understand this? Okay, everybody understand? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with this at all. Like this is there's no point in trying to like tell people they're doing the wrong thing. Correct. Exactly. And the third one, I'm going to call it as the second degree speculator. Now, the problem with the second degree speculator is that the way that the eyeballs work is that everybody's only looking at the guy in front of them. Does that make sense? So the number 3 user, the second degree speculator, this is somebody who has no fucking idea how PYRESWAP works. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Either they just love Five and they're like, Five, he's so persistent and I like his haircut and his beard and his turtleneck. You know what I mean? Which I don't disagree with that. All 3 of those things are amazing. but the point being is, Maddie, this person doesn't actually... If we have enough of user 3, naturally they end up helping user 1 and user 2. But what we really want is we want enough of user 1 and user 2 so that 24 hours go by and there's always people entering and exiting positions based on their understanding. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So legitimately, it's these two that we need to support user 3. It's these two that we need to support user 3. Make sense? Now, I want you guys to know something. Okay, I want to ask you guys something. Do you guys remember the first time you heard about Bored Ape Yacht Club? Correct, Maddie. Ish, yes. But also, Maddie, it's more so the fact that number 2 users, they're never bearish. Does that make sense? Yeah, it's like number 2 users don't need to look at the chart. Does that make sense? Make sense? Because if I say red candles can be good or red candles can't kill the project, it is still necessary for user number 2 to actually understand what I'm saying and not just think that they're bumper sticker phrases. Make sense? So user number 2 is still, they're not a player, but they are a passer. But they are still helping because A, they're buying the token, right? They're holding the token. They're providing demand for the token. Make sense? User 1 gets diagonal profits. User 2, only really vertical ones. But everybody's happy. Make sense? Okay, so the point being is that user 3, it's impossible to really... it doesn't serve us to get user 3 because all they're going to do is pump and dump. Make sense? And like, that's not what this product is. Like, eventually, user 3 will stampede in, but there needs to be enough user 1 and user 2s in order to keep user 3 alive. Does that make sense? Otherwise, it's a meme coin. What happens to meme coins? The way meme coins market is that there is, first of all, there's no fucking utility. Make sense? And then what they do is they fill their chart up with bots that look like they're first degree speculators, right? And then what they're doing is they're trying to bait in humans as second degree speculators. Like, just jump in on the chart that's moving up or down. Make sense? And they literally, shit, we have volume bots of our own. They're literally just like rolling dice. They're just like random ass fucking transactions. Make sense? I did that to like appease people, and arguably I'm fine with the way it is. Maddie, it is what it is. It is what it is. And again, anyways. So anyways, speaking of which, I want you guys to understand something. When Satoshi Nakamoto was marketing Bitcoin for the first time, right? Do you guys think Satoshi ever used like user 3 language? Do you guys know what I mean? You can actually see the book. You know, there's a book. Yeah, exactly. So the point being is, everybody wants there to be hype. Hype is user 3 for sure. But in order to create hype in the first place, you have to create like a critical mass around user 1 and user 2. And I'm going to let you guys know that, let's go back to Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? I mentioned Bored Ape Yacht Club. Do you guys know who the 4 founders of Bored Ape Yacht Club were? There was a dev, and then guess what? Yeah, a writer, and a writer. Yeah, it wasn't an artist. The artist was like like some sort of like extra artist they just hired. Yeah. I looked her up on Instagram. She's got like 7,000 followers. Yeah, she made Bored Ape Yacht Club. Nobody knows who the fuck she is. Anyways, Bored Ape Yacht Club, all of their early marketing was done with what? Can you guys guess? Can you guys guess? You guys might not have heard it. Nope. Correct, Spexer. Yes. Yeah, they did storytelling marketing. They wrote backstory to the apes. They wrote backstory to the yacht club. Yep. They were, in fact, guys that... you can look this up. You can look this up, by the way. But the point being is that, yeah, in order to get their early user base, Fexer, it was all storytelling. The hype came later, right? The first time you guys might have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club was probably like when Snoop Dogg was buying one, or Eminem was buying one, or whatever, Madonna, or, you know, the price of one broke $1 million, or what fucking ever. Make sense? But the fact of the matter is when you finally hear about a project, right? When news breaks, right? Yeah. When you finally hear about something, you're already being talked to like you're user 3. Does that make sense? Like when you're getting told about a project, they just market to you as user 3. And do you guys know why? Because most people are going to just like, do you guys get what I'm saying? This is the dumbest user. Make sense? Which is why meme coins work the way they do. By the way, yeah, exactly. But, Maddie, that doesn't mean that user 1 and user 2 aren't out there. Make sense? It's all about, like, you still have to use a story to get user 1 and user 2. You still have to explain concepts through a story. Anyways. Damn, I feel good today. Can you guys tell we're gonna make it? Can you guys tell? By the way, I don't know if I could really like jam bullishness in your eyeballs, but do you guys remember the level of detail that I would talk about on economics? Maybe 2023 even maybe first half of 2024. You guys who have been listening to me a long time talk about the level of detail on economics. Okay, have you guys noticed that I'm talking a lot more in detail about marketing now? Have you guys noticed that me talking about marketing just gets more and more detailed? Okay, I just want to paint you that picture. Make sense? And by the way, earlier this morning, I was thinking about yes, exactly, Sonic. Well done. By the way, I may or may not, maybe not January thing, maybe February. In February, we can launch perhaps this blog post. Why do meme coins die? Does that make sense? And then literally you would make a subtitle like avoiding the inevitable. Yeah, and avoiding the inevitable portfolio. Yeah, portfolio. What do you call it? Disaster? Is that painful enough? What's more painful? Give me a more painful word. Why do meme coins die? Avoiding the inevitable portfolio. Heartbreak. What's more? Can I get a more death? Rug pull. No. Emotive word. Heartbreak. I would say investor heartbreak maybe, right? Not portfolio. Portfolio is too fucking highbrow. Make sense? Right? You can think of this as like another cold traffic funnel, right? Why do meme coins die? Avoiding the inevitable investor heartbreak, right? That shit would get clicked. Make sense? That shit would get clicked. Do you guys understand why it would get clicked? Because every day that we keep going with meme coins, they're more and more likely to die, which means more people playing them are losing money. More people even launching them are losing money. Do you guys know what I mean? It's like a fucking, yeah, it's like a flywheel that eventually has to coast down. And as it coasts down, it's creating the pain that we can market to. Make sense? In order to market to meme coins, I'm literally going to be on a green screen talking to a fucking Muppet. Can't fucking wait. But anyways, if you're able to answer that question, why do meme coins die? It allows you to argue that there are coins that don't die. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Right? Yeah, even 10 a day is overkill. I fucking agree. Right? Because if you have the ability to target the fact that meme coins die, and then you can promote at the end of it like, oh, hey, what if there was a coin that didn't die? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Right? Like, all you gotta do is really squeeze that fucking pain, right? Like, hey, why do they keep dying? They keep dying. They keep dying. What if there was a coin that you knew wouldn't die? Right? You guys understand? This is about pattern interrupt. I'm not going to get into this right now. Okay, anyways, we're about 50 minutes into this. I hope you guys found value in this particular PYRESWAP show. I feel really good today. And thank you so much for that screenshot, Alessio. You just saved all of Web3. And yeah, we're going to make it. Yeah, like, again, we're not slowing down. We're not slowing down. We are making history. We've been making history. And, oh, by the way, CryptoPunks. You guys ever heard of CryptoPunks? Well, Alessio, do you know that CryptoPunks actually launched in 2017, but then nobody gave a fuck until 2021? I'm not saying that it's going to take us 4 fucking years, but the point being is that there are plenty of projects that blow up to billion-dollar status that are not like, that don't like launch in a month. Does that make sense? Do you get what I'm saying? Right? Like, oh, hey, that project was launched 17 days ago and now it's $1 billion, right? Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, like, again, just because time is going by doesn't mean that there's any type of ceiling on our potential. Make sense to you guys? If I could accomplish anything, it's to make this project not analyzed the way that so much trash in the space is analyzed. Make sense? I would really like to really shift the paradigm. And that's why we're using a completely different style of marketing. But anyways, do you guys have any questions? Yeah, any other questions? Because I'm going to get back to work, right? You guys want to see learnpyreswap.com already, right? You don't want to see it? Okay, fantastic. All right, well, I'm going to build it anyway. I want you guys to have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow here on the PYRESWAP Show. Goodbye.